Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's been a while. As you can see, a lot has changed, mostly my hair. But in addition, we got this new background, a brand new name. Welcome now to the Outhouse, where a lot of our opinions are shit. But,
Yeah, that's about right.
we decided to change it up a bit. We used to be gaming nonsense, but there's been a lot more things to talk about when it comes to movies, TV, and we just wanted to have a name and a brand that kind of would touch on a lot of the different things in addition to games. So once again, I'm Avery Fair. Here we got Teddy Kosick. Ted, what's going on, man?
What up, friends? Just chilling, living that life. You feel me?
Oh, I do feel you.
Yeah.
But
My hair's not quite as dramatically changed as yours. I just, putting that hat on to cover it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do miss the hat days. Maybe I'll try and get back to that. But anyway, let's try and jump into this. As you can see, so like I said, we changed things up a bit. So on your screen, you can see the topics that we might try and get through today. First and foremost, we'll just go through these one by one. Recently, as many of you've probably seen on Twitter, Ninja has been named one of the top 100 most influential people in Time Magazine. So Ted, what do you think about that?
So I think it's interesting because I know normally when you look at those lists, I think there's other people like The Rock and Taylor Swift and those big kind of celebrity type athletes in there, or actresses, actors, whatever, all those types of people. And I think it makes sense that Ninja's in there. I shouldn't say I'm surprised, but maybe a little bit. I think it's deserved that he's in there for sure. I just wasn't sure if a mainstream outlet would pick that kind of thing up. But I think if I'm not mistaken, Juju wrote the little blurb about him in the Time magazine.
Yeah, I think he did. And but I agree with you. Once when Ninja, teamed up with Juju Smith-Schuster, receiver for the Steelers, Drake and Travis Scott last March. I mean, they had over 600,000 people that logged in and viewed them and watched them get those Fortnite dubs. And I think since then, it's kind of, I mean, he was already pretty big. And obviously, it's not like we're taking away the accomplishments, the breakthroughs that other individuals have had in the gaming landscape. It's just that right now with Ninja, he kind of pushed that frontier into the more casual households. I mean,
for sure.
Even I don't know if your parents or my dad knows of Ninja, like his name. Right. He's seen him around and stuff. So it's kind of like these people who didn't know a whole lot about games. They now at least know the name Ninja, and it's associated with Fortnite. There's all these dances and things like that. And so I think he is very deserving of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to not put a guy in there that kind of, and I mean, like you go to Target now, right? And he has like his merch on sale at Target. He's on cases of Red Bulls. He's literally all over the place. He was in Times Square, although trying to get people to floss in Times Square was a fail. He was still there and still on the TVs of millions and millions of households of people that probably some knew who he was, obviously, and some didn't. But it's like he's just kind of blended, been the first, I guess, anybody from the video game industry or landscape like blend that into like the more casual mainstream celebrity type, I suppose.
Right.
So it makes sense. And with, however many hundreds of thousands of subscribers he had at one point and all the millions of kids that are probably watching his YouTube videos and stuff, it's pretty deserved, I think. So I'm glad to see him up there.
Yeah. And I mean, and I'll just end this saying that, in whatever way possible to try and educate more people in games and to get more people involved, I think is a good thing, and it should be embraced. So, all the success to him.
Good on him, man. Yeah, good on him.
Yeah. But so next, as you can see, I think what was it sometime last week, we're in unexpected.
Wasn't that earlier this week?
Yeah, it was Tuesday.
Yeah, it was earlier this week. Yeah, the big news randomly.
Yeah, on a random Tuesday morning, we got some PlayStation 5 news. Or, I'm sorry, it's not officially PlayStation 5, but the next PlayStation news.
Let's just call it PlayStation 5 for all intents and purposes.
Might as well. But with that, I mean, so there is no firm set price point yet. Obviously, I think, that will come once the whole big reveal happens.
Sure.
But a lot of people were trying to guesstimate at what it might be based on a lot of the tech specs and things that were released with it.
Yep.
They didn't say how many flops was going to be in it, but I don't know if that.
Lots of flops.
But I think one of the big things that you saw was dealing with the loading times, correct? Like they want to try and reduce them.
Yeah. So to me, so far, I mean, main specs, but like the one that kind of sticks out to me that they've actually pushed in the interview was the solid state drive and what that'll do in terms of how you play the games and specifically the loading times. So in most of our PCs now, like in your PC, you have an SSD. I know on my PC, I have an SSD, and mostly it's used for like booting up the computer super fast and maybe putting on like Google Chrome more quickly, other games, things like that. And I know the way it's going to work in the PS5s with the solid state in there, it's kind of the same as a PC where it's able to read the data and write the data faster. Mm-hmm. And so if you're sitting in a game and it's trying to load, I think the example they used in the article Wired had was Spider-Man. Yeah. And so they loaded into Spider-Man. If you fast travel to a place, it was 15-second wait when you're in the subway normally, going from one place to another, waiting for the game to load. Mm-hmm. And with the SSD, when they put it on the PS5 dev kit or whatever you want to call it, it was less than a second. I think 0.8 seconds to get through the loading time. You basically loaded up as Spider-Man in the train and it was gone immediately. So I think it's actually really cool. That's what I'm most excited about from the articles. If you think of games like we haven't played it much, but like an Anthem or an Assassin's Creed, it even has some pretty beefy load time sometimes. Games like that, I don't personally hate them normally because I can just sit there and scroll through Twitter. Yeah. So I got to figure out when I'm going to use my Twitter time while gaming now on console at least. But it's cool if you can, fast travel from place to place and not have to think about, well, shit, I got to sit through another 30-second, 45-second loading screen. I think that's pretty cool.
No, yeah,
it's more of like a quality of life improvement, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense just as, things are becoming more technologically savvy and things like that and advancing, that loading times would, reduce. And I know that you had also said before that with this SSD being added in, you think that with your guesstimation with the price that may jack it up a bit.
So I think at a minimum, it has to be the same price as the PS4 Pro. Like it won't be cheaper. I would be shocked if it's cheaper. And what's the PS4 Pro? 400, I think.
I want to say it was 400, but
I think it's 400 normal. It just depends, like what we get for more of the specs. But I don't think it'll be any cheaper than 400. I would like to think they won't make it more expensive, or maybe they have like a 400 price and a 500 price for like the super intense version. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't think it'll be cheaper though.
I would say that it is going to be $499. I think that is a good price point for, I think, what they're saying. I mean, they're going to support 8K gaming. I'm not sure if 8K TVs even exist. I think they're out there.
Yeah, they do. They're expensive though. Not for us. They don't exist.
There's going to be backwards compatibility with the PS4. So at least they're, trying to dip their toes into that.
Yeah, that's cool.
PSVR is still going to be a big thing. If you still have a PSVR, it's going to be compatible with the new PlayStation, and it's going to continue to support physical discs, which I know you have a love for digital. I'm, I think, slowly beginning to adapt to it, but I still like getting the boxes. I think opening it up and smelling the new case. I'm weird. I like it.
There's a lot of people that like that though. So you're not weird in that regard.
Perfect. But then,
in other regards, you are weird though.
So then, when do you think it would come out?
If they're talking about it now, they already said in the article not 2019, which I expect anyways. I would be kind of surprised if it's not a fall 2020 release. Like if it's 2020, I just assume at this point it's fall 2020.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think fall 2020 is a good time. I think maybe we'll start hearing some more stuff when PSX happens in the fall, and then when Sony comes back to E3, because they won't be there this year. When they go back next year is probably when they'll release everything. Yeah. But I think another reason why they may have just decided to do this on a random Tuesday was Microsoft is going to be at E3, and they just announced their new Xbox One S All Digital Edition, and whereas I'm not personally a big fan of this new pseudo digital console because of the price point. What was it? $250.
$250 is the standard. Yeah, the standard price.
Yeah, and but I also do think that Microsoft is probably gearing up to possibly announce the next Xbox this E3.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Xbox 2 details of some sort come out. I don't know if it's there's a little blip there. I think we're good though.
Like, are you still there?
Yeah, we're still here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something, whether it be specs or a view of what the console will look like, or a tech demo, something. I don't know if they'll come out and be like, here's what it looks like, here's all the specs, here's the price, here's everything. But I think it'll be there at E3, and that same thing. I think it'll be next fall. Yeah. And I think in the meantime, Xbox has been pretty quick to do all these iterative cycles of the Xbox One. It's Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, the digital edition's a good idea, and I think that's the way it's moving. It makes me think that they might line up for a streaming only or even a cheaper digital only mode of some sort for the Xbox 2.
Yeah.
But right now, like at $250, granted, it'll probably be on sale a lot, so you won't be buying it for $250. You're probably buying it for $200 or $150 to $200, somewhere in there. But $250, I think, is the same price that you can get an Xbox One S with a disc tray right now. So I don't know why you wouldn't just get that in case you wanted discs and could play Blu-rays and stuff. So if it's actually selling at $250, it doesn't make sense to me. But I think it's more of a test the market and see if people adopt it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I mean, I think, the new Xbox, I think you're right. It probably will release next fall. I mean, I think fall, like you were saying before, that's the big time where consoles are released. I also do want to say that I would think that it would be smart for them also to maybe release it next spring. Like,
try to get it in front of the PlayStation.
Yeah, try and get a jump start. And this is if the Sony releases the next PlayStation in the same year. Just because I think Xbox would like to have that, first step into the next generation. They probably saw the success that the Switch did when it was released in March a couple years ago, and so they can see that there is a market for new things to be released in the spring. So there's that too. All right, just shifting away from games right now. Let's go to Disney Plus. So
I like this. We're not restricted to games only anymore.
Right? We can move freely now.
Let's hit it.
So let's shift over to Disney Plus. So Disney announced their streaming service in press conference, I believe just last week also. And,
at Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah, Star Wars Celebration. And so they're talking about how with Disney Plus, it's going to release this year, November 12th. And with it, it's going to be either $6.99 per month or a whole year for $69.99. So first, as you can see from the price point, it's cheaper than Netflix, cheaper than HBO, cheaper, I think, than all other streaming services. In addition, it's going to come with the whole Disney Vault's going to be unlocked. You can have all those classic Disney films. With their acquisition of Fox, you're going to have all 30 seasons of The Simpsons. I know my girlfriend Blanca is very happy about that because I don't watch The Simpsons, so I can start binging those.
Good luck with that one. That's going to take you a few years.
And then also Marvel is going to have a few TV shows that will actually incorporate movie actors and intertwine with the larger scope of the MCU. We have a Loki show, Wanda and Vision, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier. And then the biggest news, I think, for you especially is the new Star Wars show, Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So Mandalorian, I think, is what it's going to follow that bounty hunter off the edges of the galaxy, brand new story.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them go into I mean, they've done it before in, like the Clone Wars TV show or other books or games, Knights of the Old Republic, things like that, where they've gone off the beaten path of the Skywalker story. And I would, to be fair, I would even consider like Solo and Rogue One. Those are kind of part of the Skywalker stories to me because it's all at the same time period. But I'm excited to see them get out there into different parts of like the galaxy and do new storylines because they have this entire universe that they've built and they've kind of just narrowly focused on this one piece of it. Granted, it might be the most mainstream biggest piece of it because at this point you can't like rewrite all that's happened in these other shows, but it'll be cool to see them explore new characters, new places. I'm pretty pumped. And I know for the Mandalorian, because we were talking about this before, it'll launch with the service, they said, and it's going to be a weekly situation. So it's not going to be released all at once. It'll be the Game of Thrones style release, which, depending on how you view it, I think it's cool because it keeps the hype going each week instead of it being like a weird all release. Can we talk about it? Can we not? Because some people might not have finished it. So I think it's cool. I'm pretty excited for it, but waiting week by week will be be a struggle, just like Game of Thrones, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how that'll work for them, because like with Netflix's the whole binging thing all at once.
Yeah.
I mean, there's pros and cons with each style. Obviously, it's going to be very indicative if this new show can get viewers into it, and so that's going to be the test. If they can,
for sure.
If you can hook someone in right away, then you got them for the next episode and then thereafter. And if it flops right at the beginning, then it's going to be tough to keep getting people to come back each week. So so that'll be interesting. But
I'm excited for it. Yeah. I think because I know you mentioned the price at the start, the only thing that I'm curious to see what happens is if the price changes over time, because I know Netflix, for example, launched at a much lower price just like this. Granted, Disney probably has a lot more content than Netflix launched with. I'm just bullshitting, but I would assume so because they have a lot of stuff. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if it stays at that price or over 2 or 3 or 4 years as they put more on, if it just gets more expensive.
And also, real quick, another good point is I wonder if, because with Netflix, there's the ability to share with 2 screens or something. There's options of increasing the amount of screens. I wonder. I'm not sure if they announced anything in regards to that, whether or not you can share multiple screens, devices at
the same time. Yeah, I didn't see that. Hopefully, though, get that family plan going. I got you.
Speak about the family plan with Game of Thrones is back.
Lol, that segue.
So, Teddy, I know you've been waiting for this for all your life.
Basically.
But yeah, so we're back in Westeros. Winter is here. The White Walkers just coming up. Spoilers if you haven't seen either end of Game of Thrones season 7 or 8, but the White Walkers are coming. They burned down the wall with their zombie dragon. They're getting ready to assault Winterfell. And in the first episode, it was very mundane when it came to very light on the killings. It was more about reunions and things like that. And so, what did you think about the first episode coming back?
I liked it. I think it did what it needed to do, considering there's only 6 episodes in the last season. At some point, you got to set everything up. And I'm pretty sure, I would like to think, from the next episode going forward, or at least episode 3, which we think will be the battle for Winterfell, the biggest battle ever in cinematic history, whatever. I would like to think people are just going to start dropping like flies. Like, I think this first episode was just to get it ready to just fucking go for the next 5 episodes. And there's a lot of tension built up between different characters. I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens for sure.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, we have our own theories about things that's going on. I agree with you. I think episode 3 is that one where I think everything's gonna get wrapped up with the White Walkers, and then the latter part of the last 3 episodes will be about who gets to rule Westeros. Yeah. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens the rest of the way.
And if 80% of the cast isn't dead at the end, it's a disappointment.
I mean, I'm still in the camp that everyone should die, that only the White Walkers should win, because they have
what a shit ending dragon, though. Okay? I mean, you're not wrong, but
how do you kill? They killed the dragon, brought it back to life. I don't understand how you can kill it again.
Fair enough.
But finally, something that we have been nearing the end to is not only this podcast episode, but is Avengers Endgame.
Okay, these segues though, yikes. Yikes! Who let this guy host? So Endgame's your topic. You're the Marvel. The Marvel resident expert here. So,
man,
I mean, I just watched. I'm getting caught up still, so I won't even talk about it. What are you thinking going into it? I know they've had some trailers come out. Are you looking for certain things to happen or not? Are you feeling good about just what are your feelings in general about the movie?
First, I'm looking forward to if Paul Rudd finds his way up Thanos' ass.
Okay.
But if he doesn't, then it's fine. I get it. But no, seriously. Obviously, this has been a film that's been, we've been leading up to this over, 21, 22 films over 10, 11 years. And so this is going to be the mother of all, superhero films. And we're going to see, what's going to happen when Thanos, he snapped half the universe away. The Avengers are pissed. They lost. And obviously, I understand the whole marketing aspect of it, trying to get people to at least know that the movie is real. You know, you give trailers out and things like that. It is unfortunate to see, you know, it feels like every week it's another new 1 to 2 minute clip of the film, and it's like, we get it. I mean, Fandango broke their preseason sales within 5 or 6 hours. I mean, I personally waited an hour on the website to get my tickets. I know some people waited 2-3 hours to get them. So this is, you know, it's not hyperbole to say that this is probably the biggest film of my life so far. And so,
yeah, I'm sure it'll be the biggest. It might be the biggest film we ever seen in our lives, sales wise, for sure.
And so, yeah, I'm very excited. I'm going to be sad that it's going to be over. Obviously, there's going to be more films coming out, but this group of characters that we've seen ever since when Tony Stark got captured, he emerged from the cave. You know, Steve Rogers getting this serum. It's all you know led up to this, and I need to watch Infinity War for the 10th time, I think, again before I get to Endgame. But no, I'm very excited. I'm going to be seeing
Infinity War is on Netflix.
It is on Netflix.
Okay, I should do that too. And you're seeing it Thursday night, like ASAP, so there's no spoilers anywhere or whatever.
Yeah. Thursday night at 7. I took Friday off of work so I can digest. You know, probably see it again.
Probably.
But you know, I'm pumped. I'm ready. You've seen it on Saturday, right?
Yeah, I gotta wait 2 days. The tickets in San Francisco, it's a disaster. There's only a couple theaters, and all the AMCs weren't working when I went to book.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to wait, so I just went to another theater. But the earliest was Saturday at like 2 p.m. So that's right. I'll just have to avoid Twitter for what 48 hours, kind of 36 hours.
Twitter, avoid me. Just don't go outside.
You won't spoil it. You'll be a good friend. I mean, I'm sure your rating will be a 10 out of 10. I would like to think. If it's not, it's a disappointment, honestly, if it's not 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I've tried. You know when Littlefinger from Game of Thrones had said, I like to play a game, you know, if I like to think of what's the worst possible outcome. And so I'm trying to think of the worst possible outcome for Avengers Endgame, and it's tough. I'll be honest, it's tough.
I mean, the expectations are high, but they haven't really blown it so far, to be honest. At least in the core Avengers movies. Some of the individual movies have been better than others, I will say, but the Avengers movies have kind of been crushing. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm definitely excited for it.
Yeah, well, Teddy, we're in the end game now.
We did it. We're also at the end of this podcast, so later.
Hey, that outro. But he is right. So again, everyone, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. We're gonna try and start cranking these out a little bit more. Now that we got the rebranding down. But again, thank you guys. We'll get this uploaded to anywhere you can stream this on. Give us notes, feedback. We're always looking for corrective criticism. For myself and for Teddy, thanks again for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. All right, I'm Avery Fair.
I'm Theodore Kosick.
All right, well, there's his Twitter, my website, my Twitter, and see you next time. Later.
Adios.